Hello, and welcome to this short series on the topic of how paradox theory gives us insights into mental health. And I'm Sim Goldblum from maxpotenti, a business consultancy that focuses on helping individuals and business owners work in the most effective way. And I'm delighted to be able to present this in conjunction with MindMap's Wellbeing as part of their training service. We're going to talk about paradoxes, so let's define them. What is a paradox? And the standard definition of that are two statements that appear to be oppositional or contradictory, but which are in fact both true. So if we take, for example, a phrase which many of us will know, cruel to be kind. So cruel is one statement, kindness is another, and they appear to be opposites. Well, they are opposites. But when we talk about cruel to be kind, we're really saying in order to give our children the best set of boundaries about behaviours, whether it be bedtime, homework, TV watching, whatever it is, as well as being great social individuals who look after each other, care for other people, are kind and loving, then cruel and kind work very well together. And the principles of the Harrison paradox theory, and Dan Harrison being the founder of Harrison Assessments, is that a single strong trait in itself, like cruel, for example, is not necessarily a genuine strength if it's not balanced by another trait, let's say in this context, kind, being kind. When the two together are well balanced, they can eliminate the potential weaknesses of each trait. So when we look at paradox theory and we're trying to understand how the two traits work together, we use a chart like this. And this shows a dynamic trait on the vertical axis, a gentle trait on the lower axis. And in the context that we've just been talking about, cruel would be a dynamic trait and kind would be a gentle trait. If they're well balanced, by meaning that we would score them 7 on each through our 20-minute online questionnaire, then we'd end up with a balanced versatility. Whereas if we were much stronger on the cruel side and not as strong on the kind side, we could be in that top left quadrant of aggressive imbalance, and down on the bottom right, if we're very kind but not as disciplined, not as quotes cruel, then we would have this passive imbalance in that bottom right. And if we're not very strong on either of them, then we can have that bottom left situation of a balanced deficiency. Now we develop a view of 12 pairs of traits. We look at 175 in total, but we take 12 pairs which are paradoxical. And we show them in a report which you would get if you were taking our questionnaire. You would see them in this format with 12 traits. And while we would analyse and show you each individual graph in detail, we look at them in this pattern and to help us understand how all of the traits fit together. And when we look at the 3 columns, we see that the first trait, the first column, is around our interpersonal influence, how we get things done ourselves. The second, through how we influence people with our skills and expertise, and how we get things done through our leadership capability when we're providing authority and leadership to our team members. We can also look at the 4 rows, and the 4 rows represent the 4 stages of a project or a process. And the first one is getting going, initiating. How do we actually know how to start a new project or process? We then look at motivating other people, ourselves and other people, to get going on this particular project. We will be moving and then we will implement, we'll make some decisions and we'll actually get the new project or process implemented. and finally we look at maintaining it, how we adapt to changes and new circumstances that may arise once that process or project is underway. And how is this relevant in the context of mental health? And what we've identified is that 5 of these 12 pairs do give us an insight into an individual's relative balance on the key behaviours that are related to mental health. And so these 5 here, in the 4 in the interpersonal column, with the addition of motivation, are ones that we're going to look at in more detail in each of the next 5 videos. We also do look at flexible down in the bottom of the second column and optimistic in the third column, but their pairing with other traits are not quite as obviously critical towards mental health, although they can be in certain situations. So that's a very rapid summary of the context of paradox graphs, the context of paradox traits when we're looking at and thinking about mental health. So thank you for watching this. There will be 5 separate videos looking at each of those 5 traits and 5 paradox graphs, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Thank you very much for watching.